Hi punters, welcome to another preview. This is the second video of the day. This is going to be on the Rosehill meeting as well as the Doomben meeting today. It's again, apologies for the late update. I know by the time this was uploaded, the race have probably started, but hopefully you can get on quickly and have a quick watch before some of the later races in the cards start. I'm going to do my best to try and be a lot more proficient in getting it in on time. But hopefully I can still steer into a couple winners later in the card. To be honest, the first race of the card at Rosehill, I always do find it difficult. I don't watch as much Sydney races as I do Melbourne races. Sometimes the country form's a bit hard to follow, but if you're willing to have a crack in the highway handicap this race, you manage to watch this video before the race starts. I'll get started with that one first. So the first race on the card, I'm keen on number 9, Concrete. Looking at the speed map, I think it's going to get all the favours in the lead and give a great kick. The former Busted and Young horse has a bit of ability. I think it can beat these horses in the first race on the card. In for second, I have number 5, Amaricia for Matt Dunn. Is the favourite in the race, and the only issue is I don't think there's a lot of speed in the race. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to pick up Concrete quickly enough. So I'm interested to see, obviously how it closes off. It looks a pretty good horse, to be honest, and I think it could be even something that might be looking towards come the Queensland Carnival. So be interested in its chances today. But for me, there's just the speed map just doesn't quite work for it. Otherwise, we'd have it on top. So I've got it in for second. In for third, I have number 8, Gold Touch. I thought it was a really impressive win at Canberra. Won by 3.3 lengths. Really powered over the top. So I think it's got to be within a chance. Number 8, Gold Touch, and in for fourth, number 1, Almaha. Just the weight. It's got the form lines coming to the rates, but it's got to carry 62 kilos and has to come off a slow speed. Not sure how it'll go pick him up with that weight. So just to recap the numbers for the first race, the card, number 9, Concrete on top in the highway. Number 5, Amarita in for second. Number 8, Gold Touch in for third, and number 1, Almaha in for fourth. The second race on the card is a benchmark 88 over the 1200 metres. For me, this race looks quite a deep one. I landed with number 12, Problem Solver on top. I think I really liked its trial at Rosehill. Really finished off nicely, and then obviously before that had a trial at had another trial at Rosehill, sorry, not Ramwick, over the 895, then it went up to the 1030 metres. I thought it was quite good in closing. Look, my only concern is it's never actually won at this track from 4 attempts here at Ramwick, but it looks to be the quality horse in the race. I think I was just really impressed with those trials. I think Problem Solver has come back in good order, the 4-year-old mare. J-Mac on board. Barrier 13 is a little bit of an issue, but having a look at the speed map, I think there's a few inside of her that will kick up, so it might just be able to tuck in and get that cover just in behind the speed. If I could do that, it'll definitely be in the finish. In for second, I've got number 8, Passage of Time. Got the inside barrier. Got a bit of time as well, so I think $12 is quite good odds. Tried really nice on Easy Eddie at Warwick Farm. Easy Eddie's been in some fantastic form, racing some good races. Last time out when it resumed first up, finished 2.3 lengths off Cradle Mountain at Rosehill. Cradle Mountain's is quite a nice type. Got great first up stats, and off barrier 1, I think it might get the run of the race. If it can get out, it's a great chance to win this race. So I'd definitely be having a look at it at double figure odds. In for third, at number 6, Maximus. You can see it running a good race. Become a little bit hard to follow, but it was a bit disappointing at Rosehill behind Siren's View, beating 4.4 lengths in the Security Star Kingdom race, the Group 3, a few weeks ago. It's a bit disappointing, and it was disappointing again to start prior behind Renewal, finishing 7th. But I still think it could return to its best, and coming back onto the dry track might suit it a lot better. Could see it running a good race in for third. In for fourth, at number 2, Tribal Wisdom. Got the wide barrier to contend with, but Karen McAvoy's on board. Just didn't really handle the wet going in the Group 1 behind Nature Strip. That was the Galaxy of course, over the 1100 metres. But since then, its trial by Murillo was really good. Thought it really hit the line quite nicely. It's definitely going to be within the finish, and I think it'd give it a top chance. If you're playing wide with an early quaddie, I would definitely be having Murillo in. It's the query runner for me. Obviously trialled really nicely, having its first start here in Australia. I would definitely give it a chance. I just couldn't put it in my numbers. I'm still waiting. I want to see that first up run first. Looks to be a little bit of speed in the race, so may not get an easy time on the lead, but its trial certainly was fantastic. So really going to keep an eye on it. So I could put it in my numbers, but I'll definitely keep an eye on it. A bit of a query runner for me. So just to recap the numbers for the first race of the card: number 12, Problem Solver on top. Number 8, Passage of Time in for second. Number 6, Maximus in for third, and number 2, Tribal Wisdom in for fourth. Race number 3 on the card is the first of our group races today at Rosehill, the 2,000 metres. I've landed with number 1, the Chosen One, that's obviously come across from New Zealand. I thought it was quite good by Angel of Truth. Came right from the back. It was the run of the race, and I think coming back on the good track, it might actually suit. I mean, it's had 2 runs on the soft going so far, and has actually just been it just hasn't quite lived up to it. Before that, I mean, it won well at Arapuni. That was the Manawatu Stakes. The Manawatu Classic over there. So I think coming off that run in the Australian Derby, I thought it was a great effort, and I think backing up here, I think it's a top chance of the quick backup. But again, it's got to go with the wide barrier, but I think with Blake shit on, he could get into a nice spot, really power over top for him. It can be too good for this field here, in my opinion. In for second, number 11, Amangiri, I thought, its first crack at weekend grade was at Group 3. It was only just run down late by a list for us. It might be able to out's tough these, and over 2,000 metres, a little bit of a query, but definitely got a lot of time for it. It's a great, really good talent. Showed a lot of fight in that loss, so definitely got to give it a good chance. In for second. In for third, number 2, Dealmaker. I think this horse can run a nice race. It's been there or thereabouts around the money. Finished by Ring a Ding Ding last start. I think that could be good form to carry into this race. Stepping back up to the 2,000 metres, I've got to give it a good chance. And number 9, Graceful Glamour. I've got it in for fourth. Look, it's been very disappointing this prep, but it hasn't handled the wet going. Comes back onto a dry track. I think that could be the difference. This horse obviously only just beaten by Aristia in the Oaks in the spring. So I mean, you got to give it a bit of a chance here. And I think 54.5 kilos. I really think it could run a good race at the nice odds. It's been subject to a bit of support as well. So definitely really intrigued to put it in its numbers. Playing wider, I'd be having a look at number 5, Karif. I thought it closed in really nicely last start by an Angel of Truth. That was in the Tulloch Stakes. That's definitely good enough form to be a factor here. And then I've also got number 10, House of Cartier in as well in my numbers, because playing wide first fours, it's coming over Class 1 at Hawkesbury, but if you have a look before that, it was a group horse over in New Zealand. So it's come over here and run quite nice. It ran behind Putakawa, just didn't come on from the back. That race, Putakawa gave him a braining it in the Kemba Grange Classic. But as I said before that, it's New Zealand form is fantastic. Ran in some great Group 2 races over there. So I definitely got to give it a chance as well with Barrier 1. So just to recap my numbers, number 1, the Chosen One on top. I think it's got the class to win this race and was excellent in the Derby, and the quick backup just has tick for me. In for second, I do have the favourite, number 11, Amangiri. In for third, I have number 2, Dealmaker, and in for fourth, number 9, Graceful Glamour, with obviously House of Cartier and Karif as the wide players if you're playing first fours or early quaddies. Race number 4 on the card. Quite keen on number 1, My Expression here, to be honest. Look, I think it was a bit disappointing by Multaja first up, but if you look at its New Zealand form, it has some real good form around some group racing there. So I think it can return to form here. It has barrier 11 to deal with, but having a look at the speed map, a lot of speed inside of it. So again, I can see it tucking in just behind the speed or about midfield and getting some cover. I can see it getting some cover, whereas LeBurton and So Take on the outside of it may not get that cover. So I'd much rather be with it. And I think it's a great chance at $11 odds, so I'd definitely be having a look at that. to beat number 4 Into the Abyss. I'm a big fan of this horse, Into the Abyss. It was on at first up, but when it was beaten by the Charger by 0.2 of a length, which was quite hard to take at the $15. But I think, it can definitely run a good race. Look at it back in the spring. It just finished by Bahuta Kawa, finished 0.7 length on Beauty, 3 lengths off Sunlight. So some good form lines there for Into the Abyss. I think it can run a great race. Just couldn't take 3 on 20. I'd much rather take the $11 about my expression. I think it can bounce back off that run. Just didn't handle the heavy going at all. In for third, I have number 8, Asharani. This horse was quite good at Hawkesbury, and before that winning a Class 1 at Kembla Grange. You might all think that's good form, but look back at last prep when it won a nice 2-year-old race at Ipswich. Then it went to Doomben, only finished 2.5 lengths off as a short price favourite. Then came down to Caulfield and ran behind Smart Melody. So I mean, they clearly had a good opinion of this, and Chris Lees looks to have this horse in good form. So I definitely got to have it in the numbers for me. I know it's a huge step up in class going from a 64 up to a Group 3, but I think it's a great chance. I wouldn't be leaving it out. And then in for third, I have number 3, Fiera Fiesta. Again, it's coming off the soft track. Just didn't quite handle it on the speed. I think it's got a bit of ability, this horse, the former Weir Galloper. And J-Mac on board, but the $31 I think is huge odds. So just to recap the numbers, number 1, My Expression on top. In for second, I had number 4, the Into the Abyss. In for third, number 8, Ashrani. And in for fourth, number 3, Fear of Yes. So got a bit of a watch on Eowaze, got a good opinion of it. And Laburnan's so taken. Look, they can be into the finish, but I just don't know if they'll get that right run from the outside barriers with all the speed on. And then there's a few horses that might be able to kick up and keep them wide. So I'm not really sure whether they're going to land the run. If they had better barriers, I would have probably had them in the numbers. But again, if you're playing wide in that league, then I'd definitely be looking to have them in. But I'm pretty confident on the first 4 numbers for me. As I said, I've got some good roughies in there, and hopefully we can get a good result there. Race number 5, 2,000 metres, Group 3, Japan Racing Association plate. I've got number 5, Haripur on top here. I think that was a great win in the Bendigo Mile. Really powered over the top late. And what I liked, it really went through the line really nicely. Steps up that 2,000 metres now, which is going to be so much more beneficial. Ran some great races last time out. Some good 2,000 metre races and 2,400 metre races. Ran the Geelong Cup behind Runaway. So, I mean, Chris Waller's got this horse now, and Hugh Bowman on, just so many positives for that, and I think it's a great chance to win. In for second, number 1, Boss Down. Now, I'm surprised this has gone out in the market. I mean, it was extremely supporting as the favourite last start in the Selwood Group 3 over the 2,000 metres. But interestingly, this horse comes back to Randwick, where it has 2 wins from 2 starts, and comes back onto the dry track, which is no issue for it. I know that the heavy track stats were great for it last run, but I think the dry track stats are just as good. I know it hasn't produced so far this prep, but I really can see it improving here, coming to a good track that it loves to run on. So I would definitely be leaving it out with Kara McAvoy aboard. I mean, a lot of positives there. I'd definitely be giving it a good chance. In for third, I've got number 9, Alabretto. This horse I've got a huge time for, and got on it last start when it won at nice odds at $10 at beating Magna Power late. I mean, my only real query is there doesn't seem to be a huge amount of speed in the race, so it's going to have to do a bit of effort to come to the back. But I think this horse is a serious contender. I was very close putting it on top, but I just sort of went with the class of Haripur and Mossendale. In for fourth, I've got number 3, My Nordic Hero. I could see it improving, has fantastic second up stats. The only issue with me is it doesn't usually runs its better racing at Rosehill, but it really picked up through the line that last race behind Mrs. Seawolf, and thought that was quite impressive. And as I said, you can't ignore the second up stats. So for me, this race, I'm also quite intrigued. Number 4 is Sedanza, who's resuming off last week, backing up off the Coolmore run, which was really didn't handle the gun. Look, it just sort of didn't really come on from the back. It's probably a little bit disappointing, but I'm really intrigued by the quick back up. The race prior to that behind Invincible Gem, I thought it was okay, and definitely could be the chance to this race. So let's recap the numbers for the Group 3 Japan Association plate. Number 5, Haripur on top. In for second, number 1, Mossendale. In for third, number 9 Alibretto, and in for 4th, number 3 My Nordic Hero. Race number 6 is the Group 1, first Group 1 of the day, the Champagne Stakes, over the 1600 metres. For the 2-year-olds, look, I find it really hard to go past number 9, Loving Gabby. Look, I guess there should be maybe perhaps there's bigger discrepancy in the market between it and Castelvecchio. They finished quite close last up, but Castelvecchio went past it, and then Loving Gabby sort of just picked up real late and then finished in front of it again. I thought that was quite impressive, and that says to me that the mile will suit. So she's obviously a big strapping horse and will really get power home through the ground. I think now that it's back at 260, it was 230 last night. It's now back at 260. It's a much more backable price, and I'd definitely be looking at it to win this race. I think it's hard to beat. In for second, number 4, Fortress Command. I thought that its effort was excellent at Rosehill behind Bellevue Hill. It looked like it wasn't handled the going, but it made up a stack of ground late and really didn't fit. It only finished 3 lengths off it, but it was just so impressive going through the line. And before that, it was unbelievable at Newcastle in the 2-year-old race there, being Bullet Fly. So I think coming back to the good ground, it could really give this race a shake and gets the inside barrier. It's a huge play in this race. If I didn't like Loving Gabby so much, I'd definitely be having it on top at the good odds of $8. In for second, I've got number 1, Castelvecchio. I think it's, will run a good race again. Only query is that there's no speed in this race. Loving Gabby will be up there towards the front. Fortress Command, I think, needs to be a bit more forward. They might be. Well, I think Castelvecchio just might need a bit of luck to get to the outside, which is what it likes to do and run home, but definitely can't leave it out. In for 4th, I've got number 11, Crystal Falls. I thought this horse finished off really nicely behind Microphone. Before that was only behind Kiyomichi, who of course won the Golden Slipper. So it's got some form around some great runs and great horses. So I think it'll be within a chance and will be in the finish. So just to recap the numbers for that race. Quite confident number 9, Loving Gabby on top. Number 4, Fortress Command for second, going to give a real good shake at odds. Number 1, Castelvecchio in for third, and in for 4th, number 11, Crystal Falls. I've also been building at keeping out Vinco. Sorry about that. Got my Loving Gabby's mixed up there, but I just look if beat Power Scheme down at Mornington. Then it obviously was beaten by it last start, but it was coming around the field. Obviously there was that fall in that race, and it sort of I think just didn't quite be able to get past that and recover. So I think it will improve this time around with Hugh Bowman on board. So I'd be definitely having it in if you're playing quaddies or first fours. You've got to have it in. I think it's a great chance. No knock on Power Scheme. I just thought it got a great run last start, and that was its win last start. I just don't know if it can back it up this time around. Moving on into the race 7 all-age Schweppes all-age stakes. The other Group 1 of the day, weight for age, 1400 metres. Sensational field this. Look, where do you look? For me, I have put number 3 Pirata on top. I think this is its race for this horse. It was quite, it was finished close to Osborne Bulls and Champagne Cuddles, and I can't understand why Pirata's $5, Osborne Bulls is $2.50. They were, finished exactly the same at line, so I really can't understand why it's $5, and I think it's the one to beat in this race. In for second, I've got number 5 Malaguera. Now, I'm interested that Peter Galagos had a real spell after finish half length off Elite, and it was a great run in that race in the futurity. Comes up here, he's really held it back for this race. I think it's a great chance at good odds, Malaguera. In for third, I've got number 6 Dubai. I'm interested in this Charlie Appleby horse coming across. They're more keen on this one than they were on Dubai. Not sure how to say it last week, but it ran around as the favourite in the Coolmore, and they're more confident on this horse. And I think its run over in Dubai was really good. It was, showed a terrific turn of foot, and if it can show that here, it really give us a good shake. And it's got Kerry McAvoy on board, and he's the big race jockey. He knows how to win these races, so got to have it in. And number 2, Osborne Bulls, got it in the numbers you've got to. It's too short for me. It's barrier 1. For me, I think its best racing will be when it can get to the outside. I can't see it doing it this race again, so it might just be one of those horses that really frustrates us. Another interesting runner, I think, is number 11 Youngstar resuming. Obviously finished sixth in the Melbourne Cup. Had a really good trial. It was a fantastic trial. So if you're playing a quaddie, look, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a knockout chance. Like, I haven't got my numbers, but it would really, I wouldn't be leaving it out. It's within a good chance. It's going to have to come off the back, but it's got a lot of ability. This horse got so much time for it. As soon as the Doomben carnival starts, I'm straight on it. She'll be a huge chance to win the race. One of the races up there. So just to recap the numbers, for me, number 3 Parada on top. I think it's its race to win. Number 5 Malaguera in for second. Again, as I said, intrigued by them holding it out for this race. I know I had a few problems. But Peter Galagos reckons it's ready to go, so I'll take his word for it. In for third, I had number 6 Dubai, and in for fourth, number 2 Osborne Bull's the favourite. Race number 8 on the card, Group 3 Table Hallmark Stakes, over the 1200 metres. Home of the Brave looks hard to beat. It's paying $2.15, but really liked its trial, and I've really got a good opinion of it. This running coming into the Doomben preparation, I think it can win this race. If a second, I've got number 4 Viridine. I thought it was a great run by Viridine. It was a fantastic trial recently. And if you have a look, take out last start behind Nature Strip in the Galaxy. Just didn't handle it going. Before that was excellent form behind Ball of Muscle and Red Zell on the good going. So I could really see it return to form off the back of a very, very good trial where it was well held. I've got in for second, number 9. Brave Slime. I've been waiting for this, but I feel like they've chosen the wrong race. This has got so much depth to it. It's got great first up stats, 2 wins and a second from 3. I could definitely see it being in the finish. Some of its trials have just been electric. I mean, that trial at Randwick over the 1,050 metres was unbelievable. And then obviously finished in that trial behind home, the Brave was well held in that too. So definitely see it being a good chance at the good odds. Number 10, Trekking in for fourth. Can't leave it out either. I mean, Trekking, just was quite good behind Easy Eddie, I thought, and I think coming back to the good surface will suit a lot more. Doesn't really handle the wet going, so I thought that was a really good run. And obviously its trial was excellent when he, just really broke away from the pack, and went not really nicely. No, it was under a good hold, so I don't see why. I can really see it giving this a good shake. So just to recap the numbers for the 8th of the card. Number 2, Home of the Brave on top. It's short, but I think it is that good, so I do not blame the market having it that short. I think it's a great chance to win this race. Should get some favours in the speed, in my opinion. Number 4, Viridine in for second. In for third, number 9, Brave Song. In for 4th, number 10, Trekking. Really was reluctant to leave Easy Eddie out of my first 4, but I'm definitely going to have him in the quaddie in the first 4. If you box it up, I think it's going to be within the finish. But I think they're the 5 you go with. I'm pretty keen. I think they're going to be the 5 in the finish. So you can definitely play at those in your quaddies. So yeah, I'll be looking at that. Going into the last race of the card, Benchmark 100. Now, this looks a hard race for me. Stacked full of depth. Number 16, Star of the Seas, just continues to answer all the calls. I mean, fantastic in the heavy going, and looks stepping up in class, but I think it can handle it, and it's been well backed. It's got a lot of ability, this horse, and I just thought that it really shows that quick turn of foot that you need in a race, and I think it can win this again and make it 3 in a row. In for second, I've got number 6, Seaway. Look, it's coming back from disappointing running it behind 50 stars, but I think it just didn't handle the heavy track. If you have a look at its stats, it's much better on the good and soft track rather than the heavy track. So coming back to the good track, off the back of a good run prior, I mean, obviously beat All Too Soon on a soft track and was quite impressive that day. I think it can return to form here and be within the finish. Number 8, Take It in Turn. I thought its trial was quite good at Newcastle behind Savado, and then obviously at Wyong start prior to that. Good first up stats, resuming. I think it can be right in the finish, Take It in Turn. Number 5, Stitson. Now, I heard David Hayes talk about this horse, and he said that, obviously this sort of race is a lot easier than what it's been tackling. I find it interesting they've taken it up there to race in this race, so I think it'll be within the finish. Could have it on top, but it really finished off nicely out wide on the track in the anniversary, Ladbrokes anniversary Vaz over the 1,400 metres. Steps up to the six at the 1400 metres. I think it's a great chance. So look, it has to deal with the wide barrier again, but I think it's a real good chance to be in the finish for this, and I'm really interested at the good odds as to why that Hayden Damley brought this horse up here. I think it's going to be a great chance. So just to recap the numbers, number 16 start of the season on top, number 6 Seaway in for second, number 8 Take It in Turn for third, and in for fourth, number 5 Snitch Sun. Now just to have a quick overlook at Doomben, I can see they've already started there, but I'm not having a look in until race number 5, and it's a listed race, and for me, I've got number 4 Savvy Coop on top, former New Zealand galloper now with Chris Waller. I thought it's been taking some good company, and look, it's really hasn't been in the finish, but they've all been on heavy tracks, and it doesn't handle the way we're going. This horse comes back onto, it's on the heavy track again. But I just think there's a smaller field, and it can definitely beat these. I mean, this is probably the easiest field it'll tackle in a while, so I can see it being in the finish. And at good odds. I mean, I know it has to handle the heavy going. I know what I just said about it not handling heavy going, but I think my second point to this argument was going to be that it still does, looking at this field, I think it can definitely be in the finish, this field, and I'll definitely be taking $11 to find out. In for second, I've got the favourite, number 2 Order again. Has done nothing wrong so far. Trainer Brian Smith was excellent at Eagle Farm, and I've got a huge query on it. My only probably slight query is just the odds. I just couldn't take $2.30. I mean, it can handle the wet track, we know that, but yeah, $2.30 is a pretty short price to take for me. In for third, I've got number 9 Tangled. Now, this horse could definitely win this race. Had a real nice trial ahead of Peckins at Warwick Farm. Before that, it was quite good one, Red Cardinal, and I think that's a good form to take into this. I think they've been holding it back. This is a horse that, was in some fantastic 3-year-old group racing in spring, Tangled, and I think it can return to form here. Definitely be within a chance. In for fourth, I've got number 11, Hallelujah Boy, for Chris Lees. Loves the heavy going. Has proven at this track here at Doomben, so I've got to have it in the numbers. So just recap: number 4 Savvy Coop, bit of a knockout chance. Number 8 Order again in for second. In for third, I have number 9 Tangled, and in for fourth, number 11 Hallelujah Boy on the 5th of the card at Doomben. The 6th on the card, I've got number 5 Keena Ray on top here. I think it's a good chance. Resume for Toby Evans, former Hayes galloper, and it trialled nicely at Gold Coast in its 2 trials. I think it can really give us good shape with Jeffy Lloyd on board. Much more obliged to take it over Mr. Marbaloo as the favourite at $2.10. I just find it's too short. I mean, for me, loves the track, loves the wets. I mean, I can see why, but I just wouldn't be able to take it at $2.10 for me. There's a few better horses in this race. In for third, I've got number 9 Bold Chance for Robert Heathcote. He loves this track, good second up, so that's 3 from 3 second up, so I could see it improving off that win at the Sunshine Coast last start. It's a fantastic horse, so I would really give it a great chance. In for fourth, I've got number 4 Cold Stone. Now, this horse is resuming where it's got, it's in for fourth, number 1 Salaman for Chris Waller. That was the one I had, It doesn't have good second up stats, but it's been tackling some better company than this, so I can see it being in the finish. But for me, I'm very keen. If you're playing the quaddie, be very confident taking these 3 horses in Mr. Marbaloo's, number 5 Keena Ray, and number 9 Bold Chance. If you're going to trifecta, I'd definitely look at boxing them up. I think they're definitely the 3 that will be in the finish. There were 6 on the card at Doomben. Race number 7 on the card. I think number 8 Vega One's the one to beat here. Actually, thought it was an incredible run midweek at Doomben. Won by 9 lengths. Did so at a $1.20 favourite. Had every right to win that maiden, but it's got some good form. I mean, you look back and it's 2-year-old prep. It really finished well on some good horses. You're looking at for 2. Rakanji, like Ring a Ding Ding. So it's got a lot of ability. I think $6.50. Hot Speed might be able to come off the hot speed and give this a real good shake and come over top of them late, like it did at this track midweek a couple of weeks ago. In for second, I've got the 3 Plague Stone. Got a lot of time for it, Plague Stone. great fresh stats, had great trials leading into this race. Has never had the heavy track though, so that's my only query on this horse. I couldn't take it till I was 50 when it hasn't had a go at the heavy track. It is a big lump of a horse. Obviously, it's now been gelded. Was a colt last preparation, but I think it's a great chance to be in the finish. Number 4, Rock Beat, paying $10. Look, it's in great form. Beat Veronese last start at Toowoomba. Before that, we had a nice win at Eagle Farm. It's in form and it's paying $10. I can't really understand that. I know it's stepping up in distance, but I've got to have it in the chance. And in for 4th, I've got the favourite Spirit's Choice. For me, Barrier 1 is going to go forward, a lot of speed in the race, but has never won or placed from 5th attempts at Doomben. And for me, that's a massive query for me. I couldn't put in the top 3 with those sorts of stats at the track. So just to recap the numbers, I think number 8, Vega 1 is a massive chance to win this race. Number 3, Plague Stone for 2nd. Number 4, Rock Beat in for 3rd. I think they're definitely the top 3. And number 12, Spirit's Choice in for 4th. Look, no knock on it, but said it hasn't won or placed at this track in 5 attempts. You've got to be asking the questions there for it. Race number 8 is a 3-year-old race. I'm quite keen on Word for Word here, coming off a maiden at the Kenzo track. Beat Peanut Mist. Peanut Mist since come out won quite nicely in a maiden. Got a lot of time for it, Word for Word, and I think it's, look back on the price, $3.50, I think it's a great chance. And while it hasn't taken on the heavy going, it has taken on the soft going 3 times and it's been the finish, so it'll definitely be in there. In for 3rd, I'm interested now. This horse, Shahzaid, formerly of Kent, is now with David Van Dyke. It was a great win first up on Debut at Pakenham. If you get the chance to watch it before this race kicks off, just have a look at its run. It was real impressive. It's got a lot of ability, this horse. And I'm intrigued that it's come up to Doomben and it's now raced with David Van Dyke. But I think it's a great chance at the $11 odds. Definitely be leaving it out. In for 3rd, I have number 3, Baccarat Baby. Has had one run on the heavy and won that. Fantastic stats at the course. 3 wins off and a placing off 4 starts. Had a great trial, beat Misery by 4 lengths. It was a great trial that. So returning off a disappointing effort at Eagle Farm, I think I'm going to return back to form, coming back to Doomben. So again, $30 odds, big odds for me, and I'll be definitely having it in. In for 4th, I've got number 11, Think Free for Chris Lee's coming out a bit of different form. Was in some good form. Then went and ran behind Miss Ree Double, which I think is decent enough form to take into this race, and it should be within the finish. And doesn't mind the wet going, so I've got it in for 4th. So just to recap the numbers, the 8th race at Doomben. Number 12, Word for Word, pretty confident taking that. But number 14, Shazad's a big knockout chance. I think it's a huge chance at those odds. It has the wide barrier to contend. If it had a barrier, I would have put it on top. In for 3rd, number 3, Baccarat Baby. Similar thing, probably would have put it higher up the numbers with the better barrier. And number 11, Think Free in 4th.